You'll know where 1 is because whatever comes after and is going to be the last thing in the series. So, where there are jungles in South America is one of them. What comes before and, if they're separated by commas, those are the other things in the series. So we have in primitive areas, in African heat, in Alaskan blizzards, and where there are jungles in South America.
In jungles in South America.
No.
Why? In South American jungles.
Okay, how did you figure that out?
Because it says in wherever. In the location.
We have in. This is a good way to do it. If all of them, all the others start with a particular word, then you can be fairly certain that the last thing is going to start with that word. So we have in, and you'll notice we have
I'm confused by this.
by what?
It freaked me out that we had first blush.
Oh, yeah, change. Okay, so you notice that we have African, Alaskan. Since we're talking about South America, we can figure that it's going to be in African heat, in Alaskan blizzards, and in South American jungles. Okay? What about number 2? I miss the wild loneliness of the Cinque Terre, its hard-won vineyards, its silent olive trees, its villages that were isolated. Now we notice that they all start with its, so there's got to be something else. What is the form of this? What is going on there? Yes.
It's a verb. Or not, it's an adjective. Right?
Okay, it's an adjective followed
verb.
by the noun
Yeah,
that it's telling you about. We have an adjective followed by the noun that it's telling you about. So we know that we're going to have what?
It's isolated village.
It's isolated villages. Exactly right.
Yes.
So in order to really do this, once you get into the more subtle types of parallel structure, it's really helpful for you to know and be able to identify the parts of speech. If you can do that, you are almost certainly going to be able to put anything into parallel structure. Look at the next one. It should be pretty obvious what needs to happen. On the machinist's bench stood a variety of plastic birds, opening and closing their beaks, turning their heads, and
Flipping their tail.
flipping their tails. Whenever you're putting something into parallel structure, and one of the things in the series either is a to or an ing, those are generally speaking the easiest way to make a parallel structure because they're just real obvious. So we have opening, closing, turning, and flipping. This, everybody feel fairly together with parallel structure?
Yes.
Okay, let's just do a couple more and then we'll call it good. Okay, if you look at number 4, we have a decision to make. Because on the one hand, we have to paint, to buy, we have exchanging, and offering. So we can go one of 2 ways to make this parallel. What is one of the options?
Change everything to 2.
We can say to paint their houses, to buy new clothes, to do what? To exchange visits, and to offer. On the other hand, if it sounds better or feels better to you in the context of everything else, you can say They like painting, buying, exchanging, and offering. Either one, just so what you end up with is something that is parallel in all its parts. Okay, how about number 5? They say in Arizona that men tear down nature's mountains, run them through mills and smelters, and the waste of new mountains, of the waste, new mountains are built. So, Jacob, what would you do? Men tear down nature's mountains, run them through mills and smelters, and of the waste, new mountains are built.
The last part would be build new mountains from waste.
Exactly. How'd you figure that out?
Because the other two is tear down nature's mountains and,
Starts with the verb.
yeah.
Starts with the verb. So you come down to here and you figure out what's the verb. Verb is built. And they build new mountains of the waste. Yeah, excellent. Number 6. To run a marathon race is every bit as strenuous as to run a marathon race is every bit as strenuous as to bicycle. Yeah. Or conversely, you could say running is as strenuous as bicycling. Either way. All right. Number 7. We aim to show the mothers the importance of a balanced diet, that unpolished wheat has virtues, that vitamin B prevents beriberi, and the value of protein foods. What do we do? Ethan, what do we do? We aim to show the mothers the importance of a balanced diet, that unpolished wheat has virtues, that vitamin B prevents beriberi, and
The of a balanced diet. Has varieties. And vitamin B prevents.
okay, so first of all, what are the 3 things in the series? We know this is one of them because it comes after the and, right?
Yeah.
Which one comes before the and?
Prevents.
That vitamin B prevents beriberi. And then, since there's a comma, we know that this has, this has got to be 1, 2. So, do you notice any similarities between those 3? That unpolished wheat has virtues, that vitamin B prevents beriberi, and the food value and the value of protein foods.
That.
Okay, so we notice that the first word in 2 of them is that, so we know the first word over here is going to be what?
That.
It's going to be that. Okay, that should help us out. That unpolished wheat has virtues, that vitamin B prevents beriberi, and that
Protein foods have value.
exactly right. Protein foods have value. Did everybody look at that and go, piece of cake?
Yeah, a little hard.
Yeah. And so you notice that you have the first word. Sometimes that's not enough. Then you have to look and see what comes next. You have, okay, you have the adjective noun. You have no adjective, but a noun. So you know that what comes after that is either going to be an adjective noun or it's going to be just a straight noun. What's the noun? And the adjective, protein foods. Okay, how about number 8? Mainly from the Central Highlands, from the Indian River section, and the groves located near Tampa, come a quarter of the world's oranges and tangerines. What thinkest thou? Who would like to talk us through that? Does this mean I must draft someone? Tanner, are you feeling the urge?
What did we call it? From the groves, like meaning.
We know that the first word is going to be what? We have from, so it's going to be and from, and then what do we have? The Central Highlands, the Indian River, and the what? Groves located near Tampa. If you want to put it into this form, what would you do? If they're the groves located near Tampa, they would be the Central Highlands, the Indian River, and the... Okay, we don't have to worry about this. If they're groves, they're located near Tampa. If they're the cadets that are coming from Fort Fry, they are the... Don't make this too hard. If they're the Tigers coming from Marietta, they are the... Yeah, if you want to put it into 2 words, what would you do? An adjective noun. The Marietta Tigers. If they're the cadets coming from Fort